Hey everybody, welcome to the Roundabout cast, episode
Hello.
22. Everyone say hi.
Yay.
Hey, hello.
Uh, we got your host here, Willer.
I am Bradley's evil clone, Brad, vomited out of a giant wolf cow mouth.
I,
I
I'm.
am. Go ahead, Tyler.
Oh no. I went out of order. I'm sorry. I'm Tyler. I'm the clickety clack space soldier is back, and with some new surprises this
Ooh,
time.
click clack.
Click clack.
I
Yeah.
might click clack.
And I'm Joe, 50th string first baseman for the Astros.
Damn, congrats.
50th string. I'm sure a lot of people would enjoy, like, even if it's 50th, they would just want to be on the Astros.
It's true. I wish I could be on the Astros.
You'll get a championship ring when y'all win.
Yeah, my we were sitting there and we were like watching, like, one of the players came up and he was 21 years old. I'm like, man, that makes me kind of jealous. And she's like, would you want to be an Astros player playing baseball? Would I want to be in the World Series playing the baseball game? Probably. Mom.
Probably. Also, baseball players make fucking bank. Like, that is the
do.
best paid sport, I think, when you factor in how much you're playing and how exerting it is and how much money you're making.
I mean, they play like 7 games a week. And I'm over exaggerating, but like it feels like it sometimes.
That's true. I mean, I guess it's whatever.
Yeah.
not
I like
baseball.
baseball.
talk.
I like baseball.
Baseball, right?
Cool. All right.
Baseball.
And anyways,
First things first. Oh, first of all, let's welcome back Joe, who died, and also welcome back special guest Tyler, who has been here 3 podcasts in a row.
yay!
Making
Oh
him-
my god, it's a record.
It is.
If he maxes out his 5-punch card, he'll lose the special and just be special guests.
Until he loses out his special card.
Yeah.
It's going great. It's fun to have the 4 boys back together to talk about dumb shit like One Piece.
Gaio.
Gaio. I want to shout out our boy Feferadon.
Yeah.
He commented saying, "Did Bradley give up on One Piece? I sing the song every day, but apparently it doesn't work." Well, guess what? Dreamin'. Don't give it up, Bradley. We're back.
Yeah.
And we got some other comments to go over, but we'll go over them when it's time. Bradley, let's talk
God,
about Jaya.
I have to
Yeah.
bring up One Piece.
Wait, shit, me too. Hold on. Make time.
Just Bradley, what volumes are we discussing today?
We are starting at the beginning of 25. I think the last time we did One Piece, which was ages ago.
That was at Disney World.
Yeah, that was at Disney World. That was a long time ago. And I think we finished through 24, so we're starting with 25 this week.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. We finished like the first like major saga of the series.
Man,
Took a nice break.
It's been too long.
I took breaks after sagas too. Plus you were sewing.
Are we? I think maybe we're a little bit too far ahead with 25 because we
Oh,
need to,
24. Okay, no, we finished 23. We're starting on 24.
We're on 217 chapter wise. I'm pretty sure.
yeah. Because I was looking at this because we gotta talk about one chapter that introduces Best Girl to the
Yeah.
crew.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. Oh, this cover story is also worth bringing up.
Oh yes, the Hachis.
All right, Bradley. What we're gonna do is we're not gonna interrupt Bradley too much, so we can get a little bit better timing.
Yes.
But we'll jump in when necessary and ask you questions when we think they're worth asking.
I think we'll stick with our format of it's kind of a semi play-by-play, but we look, everything in One Piece is good. I'm just gonna say it. I haven't seen anything to prove me otherwise.
You heard it here first.
But we're gonna especially focus on the really good stuff, even if that means skipping over maybe a gag here or there.
Yeah. I have one thing to say about like the closing of this chapter, and it relates into a character later, but we'll get into that when we start talking. Go ahead.
So if we just want to get right into it, chapter 217, immediately following the conclusion of Alabasta, and this could even be considered the conclusion of Alabasta. We go into Captain Face. Yeah, Hina, and her fruit is awesome. The bind fruit. just the way it's presented is freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because when she binds someone, you see these little droplets coming off, and like I don't know, you can just imagine like it's fluid while it's forming, and then it like just binds them, and then it's like unbreakable, and I don't know, whatever's going on there, it looks cool.
It
And
makes
she
it seem
pulls
like
it off like a badass.
she's like clotheslining you, and
Mhm.
her arm is making like a residual thing that will bind you.
Yeah, and we just kind of cut around Alabasta, the kingdom, and see everyone kind of coming together in solidarity. Everyone is like, "This is great." And there's hope for the future. Everyone's like, we have work to do. We need to rebuild, and everyone is ready and willing to do so. Everyone wants to get to work rebuilding this country, and it's just really, really feel good.
Including fucking Pell, which I guess we gotta talk about.
No one dies in One Piece.
Yeah,
Pell
I
is
was
the
never in
worst. I think Pell is the worst example of this because his death was so good, and it's like, man, that bomb was 5 kilometers big. Just, let's not dwell too. This is the one thing where it's like you haven't seen anything that makes One Piece bad. I'd argue this is one of them.
Yeah, it was. Let's not dwell on it too long, or else I'm gonna go crazy.
Yeah. This is one of those things that would drive Bradley up the wall if it was anything else.
Yeah, like if it was any other story, I'd probably be more mad about it. But I think at this point, like, we just have an intuition for One Piece, and like, we know that it's not necessarily important that a character stays dead, I guess. I don't know. It like what I'm trying to say is that doesn't matter as much to me in One Piece as it would matter if it happened in something else.
It
Like
didn't
JoJo's or something. But
yeah, it didn't
does
offset
happen
the
to
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So going on from that, we cut away to Captain Smoker's ship, where we get to see the new bounty reveal for Luffy and Zoro. And
hype.
holy shit, we're looking at a clean 100 million berries there on Luffy. And this is really cool because Luffy doesn't know about this new bounty yet. He still thinks his is 30 million, which is a really good setup for later.
Right. I forget that's not a plot point, but it's a thing.
It is.
Yeah. I guess so. Yes, it is a plot point. You're right.
Yeah, really cool, and it's cool to see other members of the Straw Hat crew starting to get recognized.
Hell yeah.
And I just noticed that on this wanted poster, it's still the picture of Luffy that has Usopp in the background.
Yeah.
And I can just imagine Usopp being like, "Fuck yeah, 100 million berries." So then we're only with Smoker for a little bit before we cut to the Merry Go, and boy oh boy, Nico Robin is on the Merry Go.
We can finally talk about Bradley. Did you know? Like, I feel like we've let it slip so many times.
Well, I think I think it's one of those things where the amount this character is talked about, even if I don't know the context, I think I can just like. I didn't know like if she would ever be a member of the crew, but I just always knew she would be around in the story in some capacity just because of the amount she's talked about, if that makes sense.
We kind of blew it a little bit.
I blew it because I just always do.
I didn't blow anything. I'm perfect.
Thank you,
To be
Tyler.
fair, I didn't know she would be a member of the crew. I thought she would be just like recurring person who shows up like Smoker. I don't know.
Her joining the crew is one of my favorites because it's out of nowhere and like there's no indication for it at all.
Yeah.
Like, building up to it, and I love it so much. But there's something else I want to talk about here. When I first read this chapter, I was shocked that Robin was going to join the crew and wanted to be a part of it. But the other thing I immediately noticed was her outfit change. It's completely different than it was before.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big signifier of like she has like honestly like thrown off this kind of villainous garb and literally has chilled out and has become more normal in the eyes of everyone else, and kind of like you're kind of now seeing the more normal. You're now going to be revealed to the more normal side of Robin throughout the series,
where she's not an undercover person trying to figure out the secret of the poneglyphs.
Yeah. It's there's kind of two layers to it where one, you know, the Robin that Crocodile knew was borderline of total facade. She was kind of putting on an act for him, and at the same time, kind of like Joe said, must almost be a new chapter for her because she searched for that poneglyph. Is that the right pronunciation?
Yeah, sorry, I'm dying.
She searched for that forever in hopes of finding this information that she didn't necessarily find. And so for her, it's like, what comes next? Because she was prepared to die after not finding that information, right?
Yeah, this is a very clean slate for her, and it's worth noting that her clothes are white.
Yeah.
Which is a very tabula rasa, blank slate kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Joe's right. Like, just like visually, this is showing that we are going forward with this character, and like I think if it wasn't for that insight we get into her, and maybe even this subtle clothes change, I might be more inclined to believe that there's an ulterior motive here, or she's only with them to stab them in the back, and that could still be the case. I don't know that, but I don't believe it. I really do think that she's trying to find some meaning here.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good man, Joe. I'm really glad you wanted to focus on that. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, number one being I'm a Robin degenerate.
Yeah.
So
You
number two
really
being,
are.
yeah, it was just one of those things that like because she really was kind of like the second like villain of this entire saga. Like she
Yeah.
blows up Inigram's boat. That's the first time we're introduced to her.
Yeah.
So we immediately see her as a big bad, and then she just transitions to this crew role immediately, and it's really off-putting. It's really throwing you off. But like that costume change really helps that transition because it, like, if she showed up in her cowboy outfit, I think like everyone should be like, "What's like going on?" kind of here. But it just shows there's like a big difference in her. She's very
let's
different.
not mince words. The reason why
Yeah.
Joe even noticed this is because he thought the cowboy outfit was hot.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
that's also not false.
I'm not wrong. All right.
But it's a good like kind of did a great job in just presenting her as like, no, she's genuinely trying to be part of the crew, to be part of the crew.
We were all thinking it.
Yeah.
Actually, Bradley, the thing she was looking for in this next chapter, it says that she lied about it.
Yeah. Well, she.
Right. Okay. I
That's
remember.
right. We're in the next chapter. We kind of talked about this. It flashes back to
to them on the
where she had been searching for this poneglyph, but she wanted to find it because she wasn't looking for this weapon that Crocodile wanted. She was looking for it because
right.
she just want to know the true history.
Yeah. So that poneglyph does have the Pluton location on it,
Right.
but that's not Robin's looking for it. That's another great kind of like character motivation that you figure out from Robin is that she just wants to just know the history, like nothing else about it. It's just that.
She's an archaeologist, and this just really sells that passion. Like, that's how much she cares about just knowing this history.
Fun fact, in the anime, there is a secret there's an extra poneglyph that just got added, like, randomly.
I remember us talking about that, and I couldn't find anything about it in the manga, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a hidden poneglyph that, like, I think it's like Chopper, Zoro, and Luffy fall in this hole, and then there's a poneglyph in it, and then it never gets mentioned ever again.
It's in the
Probably.
Wikipedia, too.
It is.
Yeah.
People do remember it.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that the anime is the true One Piece. So.
Stop.
They get to the end in the One Piece is just the entire DVD collection of the One Piece anime.
Enjoy the pacing, fucker.
Yeah. No. It's the One Piece anime.
Oh.
Ooh. So we're kind of already in the next chapter. We got to look at her flashback, and we kind of get to see the crew reaction to Robin, and kind of like how we immediately like her just because she's great.
Mm-hmm.
For each member of the crew, she kind of has a quality that they're immediately attracted to, and in one way or another.
Yes.
Like, looks, money, knowledge, stuff like that.
Being a
Perfect
woman.
gag material.
Yeah, and I like her. One thing I really appreciated is that, every character on this boat is kind of fitting a niche. and we have our navigator, we have our doctor, we have our cook, and you have to wonder, like, what other niche do we fill? Like, at first glance, I was like, is Robin just going to be, another powerhouse? Like, oh, we're just going to have another fighter. And no, she has value beyond that. She's this navigator, this niche I never thought needed filling. And we see how valuable it can really be for helping them find their way around the Grand Line.
Mhm.
Yeah. Not going to get too much. Robin's like maybe one of the top 3 most important people on the crew by the end of the series. Like,
you can imagine that history is important,
Yeah.
Been around the block.
But yeah, so I think way back in Alabasta, I mentioned Robin laughing and not doing anything. And she does it again here. Like, I feel like a big part of her joining the crew was because she saw how much fun they were, and that's what attracted her to coming onto the crew and joining them. That's another kind of thing I noticed from like those 2 things. She
seems to be having genuine fun playing around with everyone. This reminds me of when Chopper, like, that scene gets to me every time where he's finally in the crew and he's like, this is the most fun I've ever had, with like the most sincere smile on his face. And really that's what joining the Straw Hats really is at the end of the day. Like, these are fun people who care about each other a lot.
Yeah, I thought that same. Like, I specifically thought of Chopper, and
Nice.
I was like, this woman, she's been wanted on the high seas since she was like 8 years old, and there's no telling like how long she was with Baroque Works or even other organizations before that. And I'm like, how long has it been since she's just had friends to be goofy with, like the Straw Hats? And maybe never. So
Yeah.
she is just getting something special here.
Yeah. But that's all about Robin. Next
Yeah.
up, we see the end of the 4Kids anime, which is the ship falling out of the sky.
A day that will live in infamy.
Dreaming.
We will miss you, 4Kids anime, question mark.
Actually, I think they dubbed like the next arc, but I'm not 100% sure.
They got the actors for them, but the anime stops right at this scene.
Okay.
Of the boat falling out of the sky.
Which is sick.
This boat falls out of the sky, and
That's it.
yeah, Robin tells us that the log post has been captured by Sky Island, which immediately I'm like, oh, Sky Island, that's a thing, that's cool. And what we are about to learn about it is kind of even cooler than I initially imagined it. We learn that not only like Sky Islands are a thing in a lot of media and stories, but like the picture that is painted here is so much cooler, because like when I imagine a Sky Island, I just like imagine it's floating between the clouds, but it's like, it's not just that there's an island up there, there's an ocean in the sky that boats are sailing on in the sky.
Yeah.
Bradley, you're being ridiculous. Like, a Sky Island doesn't fucking exist, all right?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, but it would be really cool if it did.
It'd be really cool.
Yeah, so they're immediately like, okay, well, we're going to the sky, obviously, because their log post is set on it. How are they going to find their way anywhere else? And also because it's a fucking sky island. Why would you not want to go there?
This is peak adventure potential.
Yeah. And,
this is walking down the main path and then seeing something cool, and they're like, "Oh, I have to do that now."
Yeah. And the rest of this chapter, we get to see a lot of really cool stuff with Robin being able to interpret like skulls and artifacts from this boat that fell out of the sky. Being able to tell like how old it is, where they might have been from. It's a really immediate way to show, like, in the last chapter, someone's gonna be like, oh, okay, they have an archaeologist, whoop-de-fucking-do. And if you can't immediately tell how useful that is, Oda's like, no, here's what she's bringing to the table, aside from her god-tier devil fruit power.
Yeah.
And we get to see a map of Skypiea, which, this saga is called the Skypiea saga. So I imagine
Oopsies. We might have let that name slip too. But it doesn't exist.
we don't actually know if it exists yet. We're still still in the dark, but they decide they're going to have to salvage this ship, and we kind of move into some more quick and fast action We meet Masira first, the Salvage King.
Tyler, didn't you
Yeah.
say this monkey guy was like one of your favorite characters?
No, that was me. I said I liked them a lot.
Okay.
I like the crew. I just think they're fun.
Okay, cool.
And they're silly.
They are.
Me like a character in One Piece.
You like some characters.
I just like the idea of monkey salvagemen. I don't know why. I just thought that was funny.
This is a goofy Joe thing.
I really like their ship and how like these just like monkey related things are useful for salvaging ships, like the symbol grabbers on the front. I don't know, it's fun.
Yeah, it's so goofy and dumb and out of left field. I fell in love with it immediately.
Yeah, and I really like this Salvage King Masira because he like like obviously he's very he's like really showboaty, and he kind of comes off as aggressive, but at the same time like really friendly. And I think Oda purposefully makes it so we know that he's not supposed to be like some big bad. You know, he's a bad guy, but he's not bad guy, if that makes sense.
He's a competition. I wouldn't say he's a bad guy.
He is bad guy, but he is not bad guy.
Yeah, and it's just funny how he'll like yell something at the Straw Hats, and then they'll say something slightly interesting to him, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool." But yeah, kind of speeding through the salvage parts a little bit. He's really cool, and it is a really cool part. A lot of this is kind of showing the cool process that the Straw Hats and the salvagers are using to get in this ship, and also a lot of kind of antics by Nami and the crew not to tip the monkeys off.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Remind me in like 700 chapters to go back to some of these scenes.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about?
Shut up, though.
Yep.
All
Okay.
right, let's move on.
I'll just pin that in our channel,
Please.
if you don't mind.
Yeah,
So-
I don't want to forget that. It's worth bringing up.
There's a lot of salvaging antics, and we see eventually the underwater ship get launched by borderline the biggest monster we've seen in One Piece so far,
Big boy.
which its size record is about to immediately get broken. Like, this monster comes out, and suddenly the sky goes dark, and this page is just laid out really well. It doesn't have a page number on it. You'll just have to know what I'm talking about. You know, Luffy and Masura and everybody in there, they're able to get out of the monster, and they see the darkness. And this page, like, it has Luffy turn around, and then you see his face, and it's like, oh, is he looking at the monkeys? And then it goes to the monkey ship, and he turns around, and you see the look on his face, and it's like, oh my god, is he looking at the turtle? And then you see the turtle's face; he's freaking out. And
Oh,
then
yes.
page, and then holy shit, you see these giants where like the turtle is like maybe if you account for like the forced perspective or like how close they are, like the turtle's maybe as big as one of their heads.
This is insanely good visual storytelling right here. That I'm really glad that you pointed this out.
Yeah.
Just the fact that like you see a sea king, you see a turtle, you see a like massive turtle, and then you see whatever the hell this is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just these things are just extremely imposing. Like this giant monster is like, holy shit.
Even Luffy's freaking the fuck out.
Kind of fun. Everyone's kind of processing what they just saw, and you know what their next move is. Like, okay, you know, we have competition out here. We're gonna have to go to the sky. How are we gonna do that?
Right.
And there's these giant monsters, and Masura's on their ship, and he's like, yeah, it was really scary. And they're like, get the fuck out of here.
I also like right before that section, like it's basically just like no dialogue except for the monsters that they all scream, and you just see them run away.
Yeah.
Like no one has to like communicate anything, and just do what they have to do to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, like they were really panicked here.
Yeah.
It just kind of shows like whenever you having your characters be normally calm and collected in the face of danger can be a really good tool based on when and how you show them lose their cool, because if they do, you're like, oh my god, it's real now. As we move on, they did get some amount of a haul from the boat, and in that haul, or I can't tell if it was in the haul or if Robin just had it, an eternal log pose to Jaya.
She stole it from the ape ship. That's where she got it from.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Which makes sense that they would have it, since that's like, you know, yeah, they're fucking home.
But Bradley, there are birds dying.
Yeah, they're kind of looking for a coastline, and these 3 birds drop dead out of the sky onto their boat, and they're like, yay, snacks, but also, I guess, land. But also, wait, how did the birds die? And we cut to very cool gunmen, who we will learn the name of later.
Yeah, we'll table that.
This is really cool. As we get to this is Mock Town, right?
Yes.
And it's really cool. As we go through Mock Town, we get to see these just kind of interesting characters in the background, and they catch our eye, and it's ambiguous whether they're just there to flesh out Mock Town or if they're actually colossally important people to the entirety of One Piece. And we eventually get our answer to that question. But yeah, it's just really cool the way this is handled, where as we'll see later in this arc, you'll get a look at all these people and you'll be like, oh my god, that guy was actually this guy and he's associated with this guy.
Yep.
It's just really cool the way this is handled. But
I also really like Mocktown because there are times when Oda takes classic pirate like storytelling elements, like very tropish things, and he puts them into One Piece, and I think it's always interesting. And Mocktown is very much supposed to be that like solid rogues port that only pirates know about and only pirates go to. So it's like it's kind of this collective gathering of pirates, and it's a great way of comparing classic pirate lore and classic pirate tropes to what he's doing. And I just that's another reason why I like Mocktown a lot.
Yeah, this is like the most piratey like place we've seen in One Piece. Like you just have all these people wearing like the most piratey outfits possible, and they're just drinking rum and getting into fights and macking on babes, like being pirates.
Bradley, I hope you're hope you're taking note of the cover stories. I will quiz you on them later.
Yes. I felt like I wanted to wait until like the cover story ended, so that way, because like
not that you should talk about them, as I mean like as a reading pleasure.
Yeah.
Just take note.
Yeah. So we're kind of moving forward. We get a peek at, we saw the gun guy, and we saw this grappler pirate who certainly is not going to be important later.
Wrestler pirate.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's kind of fun as we're going through this town and this tavern. We're getting our first look at Bellamy's crew, but also we're getting a look at these bounties. And you know, it's fun because we just saw Luffy and Zoro's new bounties, so we're kind of sizing these people up. And while in a way, I think you guys have said, and I agree, to an extent, bounties can be considered some sort of analog to power levels. Obviously, it's not like a hard, this person can beat this person because they have a higher bounty.
Yeah, it's a loose power level.
Yeah, the reader and also the characters in the story are like sizing themselves up using bounty levels. And it's fun because in this pirate town, in this stone world, people are... they'll be like, well, what's your bounty level? It's like, well, what's your fucking bounty level?
No, I'm Dirty Dan.
Yeah,
I'm Dirty Dan.
So it's just a lot of fun. And we meet Bellamy in this chapter, who, you know, there's someone with a bounty of 42 million berries who we just met. And I'm like, holy shit, their bounty's 42 million berries. That's bigger than Luffy's was before. They're probably going to be like the new big bad guy. And then Bellamy walks in and he breaks a bottle over his head and sets him on fire.
That's the proverbial big shadow creatures compared to the turtle kind of scenario.
Yeah, it's that same kind of deal where I'm like, oh my god, here's our big new problem. And first of all, this is fucking brutal. Like, a lot of brutal stuff happens in One Piece, but for some reason, seeing a guy being set on fire and tossed out of a window, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Shit's dark.
it's
And
very.
then we
very
get the Bellamy's bounty, 55 million berries, and
Respectable.
Oda, just with his really good visual storytelling, immediately cuts from this new big bad guy to Luffy. Like, oh, this is great. There's a lot of fun people here. Because like I could totally see Luffy and Zoro thriving in this town, not in the way that the criminals thrive, but just because of the people they are.
I wonder if we'll see more of that.
Yeah, I wonder. We're gonna go ahead and go to the next chapter. I am noting the Hachi storyline.
Good.
They're kind of deciding who is gonna actually go out into this town because it's really dangerous, and obviously someone has to watch the ship, and also you don't want to die in the street. So there's kind of some just comedic arguing, but Luffy promises Nami at her insistence that he will not fight in this town. And he holds to that promise very well during this next chapter or two. Because Luffy is a good friend, and he's not going to break his promise.
Yep.
Which reminds me of his promise to Laboon. Better keep it, Luffy.
Better keep it.
You better keep it. So we see a guy on a horse, and I'm immediately like, I don't trust anyone in this town.
Much less this motherfucker.
Yeah, this is like the sneeziest looking guy ever, and we see these apples like fucking explode. So I'm just immediately like, I don't trust anybody in this town who is not the Straw Hats. We see our grappler boy on the roof again going woo. So
He's having a good time.
he says he's a grappling champion, and so immediately Luffy and Zoro are like,
Grappling
"Did
champion.
somebody say grappling champion?"
Real
And they
bad.
want to fight him, and Nami's just like, no.
I'm the best grappler in Letterkenny.
Yeah, for real. Luffy and Zoro make their way to the tavern where they meet the Bellamy pirates, and
It's a pretty styling looking crew.
yeah, or actually they meet them at this hotel that they stumbled into, and they are a very, very bougie but also trashy crew.
Man, Willer, one of these guys' design looks very familiar to someone else.
Yeah.
Really.
I think that guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a little bit more sizing up that the Bellamy pirates do, because they, the first thing they look at is, oh, well, what's his bounty level? 30 million. He's nothing. Which is just more of that, which they put so much stock in this bounty level, and they just treat Luffy like shit.
Yeah.
However,
All right.
before they treat
Real
Luffy
shit time.
like shit,
All right. Yeah.
we get really fun interaction with a guy who I'm sure is not going to matter at all in the future.
He's just a dude who likes cherry pies.
Yeah, and it's just really fun because everything they say is the opposite of each other.
It's also the same.
Yeah,
That's
it's
very important.
it's just they're so alike, but they're so different.
I wonder if that like speaks to the nature of their relationship. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think having these moments, like having their initial interaction just be so polar opposite, but also kind of the same, makes it so much more impactful later on when they are on the same page. And Oda knows what the fuck he's doing, is all I'm saying.
It's like setting up a really good foil here, and like it's
Yeah.
very blatant. Like I don't feel bad for saying that. Like this is such a blatant, like textbook, really well executed. These are your foil boys.
Yeah, it's just right off the bat, you just kind of love this dynamic between the two, and I'm like, man, I'd be really sad if we didn't see this guy again, and
Be crying shame.
I wonder what's gonna happen to him. And then the chapter ends with Bellamy like, hey, somebody see the Straw Hat Pirate? So we go into it, and I think Bellamy looks really cool. He looks like a
Solid design.
he looks like a high school bully wearing like a I don't know pirate garb. And he looks like someone who would be called a hyena.
Yeah, he has a very distinct smile.
Yeah.
We'll talk about smiles.
And I don't know, that we kind of get this whole scene where the Bellamy pirates are just totally fucking with Luffy, and you can imagine how much this is hurting Luffy and Zoro's pride, but Luffy promised he's not going to fight.
This is such a brutal scene.
It really is. I was just itching for Luffy to put this motherfucker down, but he's not going to do it.
I guess Luffy's a bitch.
His word.
This is, so this scene's important, but it reflects what happened at the very beginning of this series. Yeah. It's where Luffy's in the bar and he's just having a good time. This guy's just talking shit, and Luffy doesn't react. He doesn't like try to fight back. He just lets him do it. Yes. It's the same exact thing Shanks did 20 years ago with the bandits.
God.
Not 20 years ago. 10.
Is it 10 years? Sorry, 10 years ago, whatever it was. But yeah, it's like
1-to-1 like parallel there.
Man, and I already loved the scene, and I didn't even get that. But now that I know that, I'm like, Oda's just even more galaxy brain, even than I knew he was. It's so good. That is really good.
It makes me happy to get your fresh reaction to that one.
Yeah, that's insane. That just makes the scene so much better. And considering we're going to see Shanks again very soon, it's just, I don't know. There was a character popularity poll in one of these 2 volumes that we're doing, and despite Shanks being in like less than 5 chapters, he was near the top of the poll.
I think by the time that happened, he was in 2 chapters. The first chapter, and he shows up for a page.
Yeah. And it's just, that's how cool some of Oda's characters are. You just have to see them once or twice, and you're like, yeah, they're the best one.
Oda's really good at like making you like a character from pure hype.
Oh yeah. Same with Ace. I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That's a big distinction from the anime, because even like in One Pacer and like following filler list guides, you still see Shanks so much.
Do you?
Like
in the anime?
Yes, like he's in like their entire segments. Like I think there's 2 or 3 filler parts where it like shows like Luffy as a kid. Or Luffy. Oh my god, I can't believe I said Luffy.
You said Luffy twice.
Yeah, I know.
You're on your 3rd strike.
But it's like, it just shows Shanks rescuing him like 3 times. It's shown the story of him, like where he gets his arm chopped off, and all of them at like the bar at the very beginning. There's a lot of flashback incidents to Shanks.
It kind of dilutes the mystery, and like, yeah, we get it. Shanks exists.
It really does. Like, I wish like that's one part in the manga that I like. Shanks is so much more badass because you don't see him as much.
Yeah.
And when you do, you're like,
oh, Shanks time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty much immediately after that,
the absolutely brutal beatdown.
Yeah.
The part where he smashes his head on the glass is just worth noting because it's maybe the most brutal thing.
Not only are Luffy and Zoro getting beat down, Nami kind of gets beat down in a different way, where she wants to just get straight to business so they can get out of there. And she asks how to get to the Sky Island, and we get this 2-page spread of everyone laughing and mocking her. And I like that he did a 2-page spread for this. He drew it really well, like he always does. But it really sells how ridiculous this is to these people, but it kind of puts you in Nami's place, especially with the angle that he took, where it's like everyone is looking at and pointing at you, the reader. You go to the next page, and about halfway down the page, Nami has this embarrassed face, and you can just feel it. Like it feels hot in your throat, the embarrassment. And I think Oda's just really good at drawing expressions, and I felt the embarrassment that Nami felt. And if there was ever a second that I doubted the existence of this Sky Island, it was right here, because I was in Nami's headspace. I'm like, oh my god, what if they're right? What if it doesn't exist and I'm an idiot? And then I'm like, no, this is One Piece. The Sky Island's going to exist. But I think that's just how good Oda is at putting you in someone's headspace. And, I don't know if you were supposed to get that much out of these 2 or 3 pages, but I just really loved it.
I disagree. That drawing is so deliberate. If not even that, it's just like how small she is in frame compared to how many people are laughing, and the fact that it is a clean 2-page. It feels like, one, there's a lot of people laughing, and two, it feels like they're laughing for an uncomfortable amount of time. Because it's 2 pages, it's like double the amount that it would take you to process a read through, and it just feels like it's uncomfortably long.
It's 2 pages, it's 2 speech bubbles filled with ha-has, and it's a whole ha-ha-ha, like, arcing, connecting the two of them. So you're like, it's kind of weird when in English, because if you follow the one speech bubble to the other, the ha-ha-has backwards, but you get the same idea of, like, it's just traveling across the room, and it's just all over the place.
Wow, okay, there's a god tier parallel that we can make in a couple pages here.
Mm-hmm.
So I just that is just like one of the most I've been able to feel myself in the character's shoes in this story, and I don't know, it was really impactful for me.
Notably, when Nami kind of rejects their offer to join and she's walking away, she kind of has this face where, like, she feels defeated because, like, she puts on a brave act because Luffy and Zoro enable her to be brave there, but you don't get the feeling that she actually believes that the Sky Island exists at this moment right now.
Yeah. And right after this, we kind of go back to the beat down on Luffy, and Bellamy is kind of revealing to the reader what his kind of stance and philosophy is, because every villain in One Piece is going to have their philosophy that in some way or another conflicts with Luffy's. And Bellamy is one of the hardest contrasts we've seen in this story, where he thinks the age of dreams in piracy is over. He thinks that age of pirates is over, but I'm like, this is One Piece. The dream is alive.
Don't give it up.
Don't give it up, Luffy. And the chapter kind of ends with Luffy holding fast to his "do not fight them," despite the fact that their pride has probably just been crushed. And so, man, that was like a very emotionally, like, brutal chapter for our characters.
Mm-hmm.
And so we move into the next chapter, and Nami even now is like, what are you doing? Kick their butts. And Luffy's like, no, we're not gonna fight them. And like, holy shit, like, we flip through these chapters as we go for you listeners, and I'm flipping through, and I just, man, like, I forgot how long this just beat down on Luffy and Zoro continues.
It's a long time.
Hitting them and slapping them and spitting in their face and just like talking shit about Luffy's dreams, which is probably the most devastating thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's terrible. And this is where he offers to buy Nami, and she's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Which, to someone like Bellamy saying like, no, I'm not interested in joining you, I don't care about the money, he's probably like, what? Why? Like,
yeah,
you serious?
He's just like, get out of here.
So they kind of take their leave of the tavern, and we meet
Cherry Man.
Yeah, we meet not important at all, big boy with a black beard, and he kind of tells them that no, the Age of Pirate Dreams is not over. The Sky Island is real. And this is kind of that moment I was talking about, where having Luffy and this man be so polarized earlier just for some reason made this moment so much more impactful to me. And it's even more emphasized by this 2-page spread where there's no background. And he's like, people's dreams never end.
Two things to bring up with all this. Like you're saying, the clear image here is that they're very different in so many of their tastes, maybe so many of their paths, but at the end of the day, they are two of the biggest dreamers we have seen thus far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And about this page, the fact that it's empty, to contrast that with the page where Nami felt small and powerless, and her dream was their dreams and their ideals were getting laughed at. This page, it takes away all the busyness of that page, which was a bunch of people laughing, focuses it on 4 people, and it just snaps you back into reality in a completely opposite page structure than that one. That no, don't give up your dreams. People's dreams don't ever end.
Yeah, it's like, no, you're not nothing. Like you guys in your dream are everything. And it's just crazy. And like you said, at the end of the day, all these things that Luffy and Blackbeard, because I mean,
Bradley,
everything you just read about ultimately doesn't matter. You know, it was just the grog and the meat pies, but who they are at the core of their being, like the way that they approach these dreams and like this age of piracy, like what's core to these guys, that's what's the same. And it's just really cool.
I think there's always something so interesting about this page. Let's think about this. When Sanji tells Luffy his dream, they have pages and pages of, like, silent pages of them having this really heartful discussion about their dreams. You remember in Baratier. But here, when Blackbeard tells Luffy his dream, he's having none of it. He just kind of walks away.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I don't really know quite like 100% what to make of this at this time.
I feel like this will be that'd be something I revisit.
Yeah.
I like that page a lot. It reminds me back of like whenever like Oda does these like completely white pages, I always like to visualize like this is a moment that like impacts Luffy more than it should, because it only happens when Luffy's on screen usually, from what I can remember. Like the other time this happened was in Luge Town when he sees the
gallows.
Yes. So this is another moment that I feel like, but Luffy doesn't realizes it now, but it's an important part of like his journey. Like this, and like from me and Willard knowing other things, but like this is like a moment that like there's something in Luffy that he that buckles him down, and like he's like, I just like, this is what I believe in, and I have to keep walking, and I can't even listen to anybody to make me think differently. And I think one of the bigger things about Luffy going through his head is that he knows that this person he's talking to is very similar to him, but he also knows he's very different than what he thinks and how he behaves based off the interactions he's had.
That's what I was trying to get to. It's like, to which degree does Luffy believe this? Because that's what the read I get as well.
Yeah, because it's very hard to accept when someone can be so similar to you and have like the same sort of ideals, but also just be so different. It makes Luffy kind of really think about like, what like the authenticity of his dream, essentially. Yeah, does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Anyway,
onwards.
Yes,
plenty of One Piece.
From there, we make our way back to the ship. We get a really quick look at whenever they kind of get back to the ship. We see that Nami's a little sore about everyone laughing at her. People ask her about Skypiea, and she's like, "Oh, whatever. Everyone laughed at me." But Robin comes back. Robin herself did a little bit of shopping, and she might have a lead on someone who is similar to them and might know something about getting to the Sky Island. Someone who was chased out of town for something having to do with following dreams.
Jesus Christ!
So,
monkey man.
Back up one like step. Right as they're walking away from Cherry Pie Man, Zoro and Luffy had this very brief discussion talking about there's more than one of them. Like you can immediately tell like Zoro and Luffy have immediately read who these people are and how they're connected. Yeah. So I just thought I'd bring that up because I just saw it. But yeah, Robin, dreams, shopping carts.
And then we see another monkey ship. some
These
kind
little
of
guys in the water just look so fucking funny. I just had to bring it up.
some kind of
No. Yeah.
and we see he's also a salvager of sorts, and he has this cool sound wave attack. I'm not gonna do a ton on this chapter.
Yeah, I feel like the whole searching sequence, we can kind of speed through.
Yeah.
We do see that Bellamy is kind of interested in meeting Mont Blanc Cricket, which coincidentally is where the Straw Hats are headed.
Oh boy.
So I'm sure that'll just work out well for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, look, popularity contest.
Popularity contest. Luffy's the best. How could he not be?
Allegedly.
Yeah, I don't want to spin forever on the popularity poll. People can look it up if they want.
But good old Panda Man coming in number 19, just above Buggy.
We will move on to volume 25, which when I first picked this one up, I saw Shanks and Buggy on the cover, and I was like, what the fuck is going to happen in this? I was like, holy shit. So getting right into it, the Straw Hats make their way over to where they believe this Mont Blanc Cricket is supposed to be, and they see his castle, which is actually like a shack with a castle on one side of it. And we kind of learn the tale of Noland and
Oh my
how
god, I love Nolan.
he was like allegedly a liar who had found like this massive hoard of gold / city of gold, and El Dorado is what it's called, I think, more than once.
Mm-hmm.
And
More spoils I'm sending to Willer.
he, led the king and his men there, and it wasn't there, and Nolan was never heard from again. And so, this is something that everyone in the North Blue would have heard as a kid, and Noland and his descendants are just relentlessly mocked for this tale. And
Mocktown.
what was that?
Mocktown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we kind of learned that everyone, including like Bellamy, has heard this tale as a kid, and I'm kind of again going through this page by page. We get to meet Mont Blanc Cricket really quickly. He is the third member of the Monkey Mountain Allied Force. He's kind of the least ape-looking of the three brothers, but still love him.
He's got the same kind of hair bun thing that Nolan's got going on.
He's a powerful man, and the Straw Hats make it very clear after their short scuffle that they mean him no harm, and he warms up to them, and the other monkey brothers warm up to them very quickly. That's another chapter. There's not a lot to say. It's all good, but we have bigger fish to fry, so to speak.
Yeah. This is very much just like an introduction to Mont Blanc. The biggest thing from that is the Nolan the Liar tale.
Yeah,
and the rest of the arc.
We can kind of speed run a lot of this. What I really want to focus on is Nolan and Cricket's relationship to his ancestor, where he kind of tells how his life has been shaped / ruined by this great grand whatever, and he's determined to find this gold that Nolan talked about. And Sanji and maybe even the reader, your first instinct is, oh, he wants to clear the family name, but this extremely angers Cricket. He's like, no, I don't want to clear that man. I hate him. He ruined my life. He is kind of trying to clear himself. He wants to prove that Nolan was telling the truth, so people will stop ridiculing him for his ancestor.
It's interesting. It's kind of like a twist. You wouldn't expect that from a Japanese-based tale, which is very, big ancestry vibes going on.
I just thought it was really cool because it wasn't immediately what I thought it was going to be. I had the same deal as Usopp, like, oh, he's going to want to clear his family name, and he's like, no, I fucking hate my ancestor. He's like, this is and I think he might kind of see the Straw Hats as kindred spirits in a sense, where they are chasing after something right now that everyone in Mocktown is going to be mocking them for. They want to find the Sky Island, and Cricket himself doesn't know if it's even real. He has kind of the same doubts as everyone else, but he knows what it's like to be on the receiving end of that ridicule, and so he's like, if you're so sure, I'm gonna help you get there. And so we kind of they kind of talk about this this cloud that has just been a constant over what, hundreds of years, even longer. Does anyone know?
What?
I wasn't sure you were asking the question.
Yeah.
The cloud? What cloud?
This cloud that it's just kind of been a constant. It's like a very large cloud, and I think they imply that it's the one that caused the darkness earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And so we also learn about the knock-up stream, and Cricket's like, the knock-up stream and this cloud are going to be in the same place very soon. So they're like, we got to fix the merry-go so we can get you guys there. But how are you going to know which way is south if your log pose is fixated on the Sky Island? You have no way to know which way is south. So he's like, you guys are going to need this South Bird, which I'm kind of going a little bit out of order just because we kind of swap back and forth between the Monkey Boys and Bellamy.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are some Bellamy moments in between there, but I was just gonna kind of go in the order that our boys are going in. But yeah, we learn kind of about the Southbird from the story of Noland, and like I said, Cricket kind of makes it clear they're gonna have to find this bird if they want, by morning no less, if they want to get to the knock-up stream, because the knock-up stream is supposed to be south of the island. And so I talked to Willer a little bit about this, where I love the way Oda splits up the Straw Hat group whenever they do split up. So they are splitting up to look for this bird, and we get Sanji, Usopp, and Nami. It's like, okay, they're great. They're a fun team up just because we get the comedic moment of Sanji's like, oh, I'll protect you, Nami, because I'm the fighter in this group, and Usopp's like, oh, you're gonna protect me too, right? And he's like, no, you can protect yourself.
Classic Sanji.
So I like all the pairings, but I really love that Zoro and Robin got teamed up, because he's the only one who didn't like immediately get convinced that, oh, she's great, she's a member of the crew just like everyone else. He harbors his doubts, and we get a really cool panel very soon that I will point out when we get to it, that I don't know, I just felt like was set up and laid out very well. A lot of this, and of course, I like that Luffy and Chopper are teamed up, because they actually pass by the bird, but of course they're the two who would not notice it.
Yeah.
Because they're just having fun catching bugs.
I like how the bird looks so smug when he's like, whoever invades this jungle will die.
Oh,
What a smug fucking bird.
Is the bird saying that?
Yeah, Chopper's translating it.
Oh, okay.
yeah. Right around the time we see the bird, we cut away back to Bellamy, who has met up with the Monkey Boys, and he's being an asshole. It's so much more rewarding to steal so much treasure when they suffered a lot to get it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Bellamy really has like a chip on his shoulder about shutting down people who have dreams, and if he knows this gold is part of Cricket's dream, he's gonna crush it.
Yeah.
So we kind of move forward, where this is a lot of the Straw Hats getting fucked up by bugs, like giant, very powerful bugs.
Our Worm Cross One Piece crossover finally happened.
It is horrifying. And while that's going on, we get to see Bellamy's boing boing fruit,
Yeah.
which my first thought was, oh, this is just worse Luffy. But when we do get to see him fight Luffy, I was like, holy shit, this fruit's really cool.
A lot of people, even after seeing that, they're like, "Oh, it's still just worse Luffy." I think people really sleep on this fruit. I think it's really cool.
I do still think it's worse Luffy, but worse Luffy is still really fucking cool.
I think it's just very different. I don't. Yeah, I guess it is worse Luffy, but it definitely has like mobility. I think is better than Luffy because Luffy can't like spring his legs. At least I don't remember him doing that. Like he usually just like reaches out and like slingshots himself to move quickly. This fruit was a lot more mobile for sure.
Yeah.
Explosive.
Yes.
Moving forward, there's more shenanigans with Bugs, more Bellamy being an asshole. We come back to the Straw Hats, who have kind of rendezvoused around the bird, and Robin is able to very quickly incapacitate it using her god tier fruit. We see these arms come out of the bird, and then at the bottom of this page, right after the bird falls out of the tree, we see all the Straw Hats and Robin in one panel, kind of like, oh, cool, we got the bird. But there's a clear separation, one sliver of a panel where Zoro is separated from the rest of the Straw Hats. And it's like, even in this moment where she's demonstrated her like commitment and usefulness to the Straw Hats mission, he still just can't be 100% on board with her.
Mm-hmm. It's
very
good visual storytelling with manga panels.
Yeah. Oda the Goda. And I don't know, pretty much immediately after getting the bird, they make it back to the Monkey Bros. And I loved this so much because they see Bellamy's mark on the tree and they don't even, like, without even saying anything, without discussing it, or even, like, without even saying what their intention is, Zoro's just like, do you need help? And Luffy's like, no, I got it. And you don't even need anyone to clarify what they're talking about because we know who the Straw Hats are now. Like, this isn't a question. Obviously, they're going to go beat the shit out of Bellamy for meeting this person they've only been friends with for like an hour. Like,
and the fact that Luffy's so confident to where he's like, no, Zoro, I got this.
Yeah.
I just love it because we know the Straw Hats so well that we can expect this. Like, there was never a question that Luffy was going to go beat the shit out of Bellamy when he found out that they hurt the Monkey Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so good.
And then we got this. This is the next chapter. It opens up with the guy getting the wanted posters.
Yeah, and so this is that thing we set up for that we talked about where, like earlier, I think someone in the tavern was like, "Fuck you, what's your bounty?" And Luffy's like, I'm worth 30 million berries. Like,
yeah, I think it was Bellamy or one of Bellamy's like dudes.
Yeah, it was someone. And Luffy doesn't know how his bounty was actually 100 million. So this guy sees it and he's like, oh my god, we're fucked. And the rest of the Bellamy tries to shut it down, like, this is Mocktown, people fake their bounties all the time, so you'll be scared of them. He's like, he doesn't look like he's even worth 30 million. But Luffy shows up, and I think, like, by the time, right before Luffy shows up, Bellamy has actually almost put everyone at ease. But then Luffy shows up, and they kind of freak out again, because it's like, the fact that he actually chased us down, the fact that he actually wants to confront Bellamy, kind of shows that, okay, the bounty might not be bullshit.
Yeah, he's got a bite to his bark.
Yeah. So Bellamy walks outside, and they already know what's about to go down. Like, pretty much immediately after they start talking, the springs start forming in Bellamy's legs. He jumps up onto the roof of this tower, and he's about to do this thing that I just thought was the coolest shit. Like, this is where I was like, okay, Boing Boing Fruit's cool. He jumps, and it's not even like he was like attacking or kicking the top of this tower. He just did like a normal jump, but the force of this jump was enough to knock the top of this tower off.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
The bongboing fruit's dope. I don't know what people are saying.
I mean, no, it's cool.
Yeah, not you, Bradley. Other people.
Yeah. And then like he jumps off the top of this tower, and then we turn the page, and Oda's so good at drawing. You just see all these. You can almost feel Bellamy bouncing through this image, where it's just these clouds everywhere, and he's just like bouncing faster than the eye can see. And Luffy is just not impressed at all. He's like, "You want to see me land a punch?" And everyone's like,
"Oh man!"
And we get maybe up till now the best punch in the manga. I'm sure there's gonna be better ones, but holy shit!
Oh, it's so good.
This is an amazing one.
It was like I remember reading this arc, and like I knew that they would have to fight Bellamy eventually, and I was just like, I just want to get to the Sky Island. I really don't want like this Bellamy fight to go on for really that long. And
guess what? It was 5 pages and then a double spread.
Yeah, like which was perfect.
This fight lasted exactly the amount of time it needed to, and you know, I'm sure a lot of people, kind of like Bellamy's henchmen, are like, "There's no way it can be over." So they're trying to talk to him like, "Bellamy, you know, get up, say something, like you're good, right?" And he does not. He stays down.
Also, that 2-page spread is the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
Like it's great.
So Luffy reclaims his friend's stuff, and they ask him where he thinks he's going, and he's like, "I'm going to the fucking sky."
I like how he holds up his fists, and they get kind of menaced, and then he's just like, "Nope, going up."
Because they know they ain't gonna be able to do nothing.
So, going back really quickly to the bar tavern scene, this also goes back to Shanks when he comes back to town, and he actually easily handles the bandits once again.
Oh
to
yeah.
save me. Just thought I'd just bring that up. It's just another parallel that happens to like show you that Luffy is really kind of following in Shanks' footsteps and what it means to be a pirate. Because he didn't get involved until he absolutely have to.
Yeah. Man, I really hope my boy gets to meet my other boy again someday.
But we get to talk about the third boy, Boogie.
Yeah, holy shit. Time for the beginning of our interlude chapters where we I turned the page and do people say boogie or buggy?
I say Boogie. No, Buggy? No, I say Buggy.
I'll say buggy. I turned the page and I saw buggy and I was like, oh my god, here we go.
What the fuck is happening?
Yeah. So previous afternoon, and it's funny how Oda handles the mood here, because this first page where we're seeing them, it's all dark and they're like, oh, we're after a famous treasure and this is a dangerous cave, and then the lights turn on and it's just some like coal miners like, all right guys, let's get to work. And I don't know, it's just really comedic, and it's just like your first thought is like, oh my god, Buggy's making big plays, what's going on here? And it's like, oh no, it's just kind of silly as always.
Oh my god, Willer,
I fucking forgot.
Oh my god.
What, Joe?
I didn't realize that was the treasure they were looking for.
Oh my fucking god.
Captain John.
I forgot that Ace was in this. I completely forgot he shows up.
Yeah, dude. They go rendezvous with Alvita, and Ace like is just chilling, and you know, Ace is just not worried about these people at all. He even falls asleep mid conversation, because he's a freaking god. And so they learn, I don't know if they knew before, we knew before, that Ace was a member of Whitebeard's crew.
Buggy knows.
Yeah, and
we knew as well. I just read volume 18 like a day ago.
And so we knew he was a member of Whitebeard's crew, but we never knew exactly how big of a deal Whitebeard was. And holy shit, he is reported to be, to their knowledge, the most powerful living pirate, the only man to have ever fought Gold Roger and lived, and he is the allegedly closest to the One Piece at the moment.
I'm sure that's all hoopla.
Yeah. But some pirate lies.
What?
We were making jokes.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I don't understand. And Buggy says once upon a time he actually met Whitebeard, which, Buggy's been around the block, man.
Oh yeah.
He used to be a crewmate with Shanks. He's met Whitebeard. Like, he has history.
Huh. Yeah.
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 And that's correct, right?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember something. You're right.
Then we go to our first glimpse of Sacred Land Marijoa?
Marijoa.
Marijoa. And I've heard a lot about this world government. Here are these boys.
This is the introduction of the good shit, Brad.
We're in the deepest shit.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun because one of the first things we hear them say is that any contact between Whitebeard and Shanks would be catastrophic, which is fun because like one chapter from now we're gonna see Shanks like, all right, we're gonna go to Whitebeard's lair. We're going.
Wow. I can't believe they mentioned the 3 great powers at this stage.
No, this makes sense. Yeah.
If there's ever a time to mention it, this seems like that would be it, right?
I think we know about the like
No,
like we know about them all now.
No, we don't. It happens in the next saga when those finally get mentioned.
Well, we know the Marines exist.
We do know the Marines exist.
So we turn the page and
What a page turn! My God.
Yeah.
we see that the world government is fully aware of not only Crocodile's demise, but that Luffy was responsible, and they kind of need a replacement. They need a new 7th warlord of the sea, and we see a guy that I have heard a lot about, not in the story, but in like outside the story, Doflamingo, and a guy that I have not seen at all, Bartholomew Kuma.
I love Kuma. Kuma's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Kuma in the Puma.
I want to be him for Halloween one year.
Kuma's going to teach you about Jesus. He's carrying the Bible.
I
Yeah.
could see Willer being a good Kuma.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I just wish my chest was.
that's quite a way to end the chapter.
Yes.
All I gotta say is Don Quixote got some hairy legs.
Oh yeah. When the next chapter starts, we are still at Marijoa. Thank God, because there's a lot of cool stuff happening.
Deep in the interlude.
Yeah, and so immediately there's this conflict going on. People getting choked, choking each other, and everyone is like, Doflamingo, are you doing this? Like, fucking stop. And so you just have to start wondering, like, okay, what is this man capable of?
I like how he just says hee hee.
Yeah.
Oda's too good at what he does.
Yeah.
You
got any thoughts? You got any predictions based on that?
I mean, maybe some kind of body control. That's all I can really guess at.
Cool. Suru's cool. She's like an old granny. I like her.
So, if we didn't have enough bombs dropped already, Supreme Commander of the Navy and his goat comes in. Or is the goat the Supreme Commander of the Navy?
I will not spoil this for you.
Okay.
It's actually the thing on his hat.
I'm really hoping it's the goat, or maybe his beard is the Supreme Commander. I don't know. Because it doesn't actually say which of these living things on this page is Buddha, which is really cool on Oda's part.
Peculiar.
Like even if it's the guy, which it probably is, that'd still be cool. But I think this is just a fun, ambiguous way to introduce this. And Doflamingo, pirate warlord, he's like, you're. Oh wait, no. The commander calls Doflamingo sea scum, which of course he would, because he's Omega pirate and this is Omega Navy guy.
I forgot we get their former bounties here. That's really cool.
Yeah, 340 million, 296 million. It's nothing to sneeze at.
Much farther away from our boy Luffy.
Yeah.
We turn the page and we kind of get a sense of how hard it is to get a hold of the people in this room, because they're like, man, 2 out of the remaining 6 warlords, that's more than we thought we'd get. And they even admit, like, we're only here, like you're lucky we were able to even be here.
Yeah, the warlords, they work for the government, but they're not easy to work with, clearly. One of them tried to blow up a country.
And then I think on this page we actually get the reveal that it is the guy named Buddha. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a fun mystery for a page.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been fun. But then, stop the presses. Mihawk is here. He's the coolest. He is like maybe my favorite person in One Piece for no other reason than he's just the coolest.
Note that Mihawk doesn't get a bounty reveal.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, he doesn't need a bounty. It just goes without saying.
Just build that hype, bro.
Yeah, you just don't fuck with this guy. And the next page, we're going to meet someone named, was it Lafitte?
Yeah.
And I really loved everyone's reaction to this because these are some of the most powerful people in the world who are kind of caught off guard, and especially like Mihawk, for maybe the first time ever, loses like even 1% of his cool. Everyone is like, how the fuck did this person get here to sacred land Marijoa? So you're like, yeah, what's going on here? And you know, Lafitte is like, okay, well, I know you're looking for a new warlord of the sea, but it's not immediately clear, like, does Lafitte mean them or someone else? And we're gonna find out they mean someone else. But before that, we cut away again.
I'm sorry, Bradley.
Do I?
No. There's this character Rockstar has some dumb shit around him. It's
okay.
I'm sorry.
That was recently like kind of brought to light, or not brought to light, but brought up.
It's dumb. It's silly. Sorry, I just forgot he's introduced now, and it caught me off guard really hard.
Yeah. But go ahead.
Okay. We meet Rockstar. Bounty 94 million berries, which is less than Luffy, so Rockstar is a little bitch.
Whoa.
And he's a member of Shanks' crew.
Yes.
And he's here to deliver a message to Whitebeard, and we just kind of learn how much of a Chad Whitebeard is, where they just rip up his letter from like Shanks, who were like, I think we've been led to believe like Shanks is one of the big players up to this point, and Whitebeard just like rips up his letter, and he calls Shanks like an upstart, like a little upstart. And I'm just like, we're just like, what? No, Shanks is the best.
To Whitebeard, though, the strongest man in the world.
Yeah.
Strongest
man. And we just see this giant of a man with his harem of hot nurses.
It's important to, okay, so if I don't know if you noticed, but there's this panel where Doflamingo and Kuma are walking to take seats. Doflamingo is massive. Kuma is even more massive. And Whitebeard is even more massive than them. You're reaching this point where Oda gets to the thing that annoys me the most about his character designs.
They get giant.
Where people are just fucking huge. By the way, Whitebeard is not a giant. That is a different race. You met giants. Whitebeard is just a tall motherfucker.
Okay.
It's important to denote the difference.
He plays basketball.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah. And obviously we don't know why he is attached to this medical machinery. I considered kind of two possibilities, and both are equally interesting to me, where one, he is known as the strongest pirate, and maybe he is or was, but he could be sick and on the decline, which is interesting to me. Or two, he's like so strong that he's like too strong for his body and needs like constant upkeep so he doesn't destroy himself. Obviously we don't get the answer, but either of those are interesting to me, and I'm sure if either of those are false, whatever Oda actually came up with will be even better. So I'm
Can I
sure
point out? Sorry, go ahead, Bradley. Finish your sentence.
And so then we go to Shanks. We're just getting to see everybody in the whole world.
This
So
chapter's great.
Before we move on to Shanks, back to that 2-page spread of Whitebeard. You see this nurse that's like wrapping Whitebeard's arm to the right?
Yeah.
Her hands are abnormally huge.
Yeah, she also plays basketball.
Wait, One Piece hands are always huge, dude. So are the feet.
But like
These are bigger than they normally should be for One Piece.
I'm literally looking at my box set, and Nami's hands are like that size. So, anyways,
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
Shanks.
we go to Shanks. And it's kind of fun because one, we just haven't seen our boys in forever. We love them.
it's super interesting just to see him on to show you how Oda's character designs have changed. He looks
Yeah.
so different from initially, and it really shows because you kind of saw Luffy gradually turn that way due to an art design change.
Yeah.
But you're seeing Shanks now, and it's like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like to see how like gracious and like kind of a leader Shanks is to his men, because this guy is like so upset that he failed Shanks, and he's like, it's fine, you did great, everything I expected happened, just come back. Because I imagine it would be easy for like we see a lot of very brutal pirates on the Grand Line, and it would probably even be easy for the brutal kind of pirate to be someone who succeeds, but it's not the kind of guy Shanks is. He's just a very good guy. Clearly they are getting ready to go on a mission to Whitebeard's base, which this is that moment where I was like, oh, remember when they said Whitebeard and Shanks meeting would be catastrophic?
Yeah.
This is gonna be great. So we cut back to Marijoa, and Lafitte reveals that this person they are proposing to be a new warlord of the sea isn't very well known yet, but they will be. The Blackbeard Pirates. And on that note, we cut back to Mocktown, back to our good friend. And, we already liked this guy. And to find out that he is as important as he is so fun. He kind of just beats the shit out of, like, the second strongest member of the Bellamy gang. And then we turn the page, and these guys that we had kind of been seeing in the background throughout the arc, turns out they're actually super important members of the Blackbeard Pirates, including Blackbeard himself.
So, couple of things. First of all, look how massive these fuckers are. There it is again. Compared to that guy in the front. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's go over what we know about Blackbeard in case you need a refresher, right? The first time we ever hear about Blackbeard, quiz time, is Drum Island. Where, in Drum Island, before the Straw Hats got there, pirates ravaged Drum Kingdom and fucked them up, which is why when they get there, they're super abrasive to any pirates entering the town. Ace shows up to Drum Island, and he's like, I'm looking for a guy, and that day it didn't snow because Ace's fruit is fire. And we find out in Alabasta early on that Ace is looking for Blackbeard because Blackbeard was under Ace's division and he killed a fellow comrade, and it is Ace's responsibility to chase down Blackbeard.
Okay.
And that's the motherfucker who was eating pies with Luffy, that borderline chaotic, destructive man who killed his own crewmate, is this big dreamer who is just not dealing with small fry. He's got a name to make for himself, and that's that's the refresher course.
And kind of just also more onto that foil thing. If you think it'd be just worth it to talk about for a little bit, Will, if you know what I'm talking about with Drum Island, that Teach comes in, ravages the place, and pretty much like kicks out the head honcho over there and basically like leaves it to die. Whereas Luffy comes in his crew and they basically restore the place and like give it a new life and meaning to it.
Yeah, basically setting up their foil nature before we even met the guy.
I'm ready for Luffy to punch his nose.
No.
But yeah, we got Jesus Burgess, Van Ogre.
There's one more chapter in the volume. However, I felt like that was just the perfect chapter to end on this week. Because the next chapter seems like it is like the beginning of the next saga. It's called the Knock Up Stream. So I'm like, oh, they're going to Skypiea. And we ended on big world building chapters.
Yeah, that sounds fine. I just want to point this out. Blackbeard's name is Marshall D. Teach. The real Blackbeard's name was Edward Teach, and Whitebeard's name is Edward Newgate.
Yeah, I've always thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So those are the chapters I covered this week. The latter half, mostly starting with like the world government stuff. I feel like there was a lot less analysis to do because that really is kind of like a lot of
Hype moments.
It's a lot of like exposition, which is fun. I don't know. I hope it was as like engaging as the first half of the talk was, because I like doing this for the analysis part, and like as fun as the exposition chapters are, I like to get to do that too. So I don't know. I hope everyone enjoyed it. We got big stuff coming for One Piece. The schedule's been kind of irregular, so I hope
Believe me,
these will
it's
be
really my
out as frequently as they used to.
Yeah. Bradley's doing great. He's already this far. And I wouldn't like for me the exposition chapters are the coolest chapters. So I think just hearing your reactions to the world development, like this is the first chapter I think that Bradley got to where it's like this is One Piece. Like getting these chapters where we're seeing a bunch of the world irrelevant to the Straw Hats is some of the biggest joy in One Piece. And like I think just getting people's reaction on that, like you don't have to go that deep. We just want to hear your thoughts, and that'll
So this
be
is the chapter
cool.
where One Piece starts.
Oh yeah. No, I won't do this.
This bit is done, dead.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Do you think in the age of piracy they would download a boat?
If they could, if Blackbeard could download a boat, he would
Would.
100% download a boat.
The realest pirate.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What's next?